Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Perth County Council meeting for Thursday, June 19th. I'm Warden Doug Kellum and officially call this meeting to order. Ask the clerk to note the starting time is 9:01 a.m. We do have regrets this morning from Councillor Todd Kasenberg. Question: does anyone remember the last meeting we had here, the date?
March 2020.
You are correct. 5 years ago. Well, it sure is good to be back. On that note, everyone bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We acknowledge that Perth County is situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe, who have a long-standing relationship with the land and water throughout the region. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse, Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit people who call this territory home. As a county, we have a responsibility for reconciliation and the continued stewardship of the land on which we work and live. Does anyone have any peculiar interest to declare at this time? Seeing none, if it so does rise, please declare then. Are there any additions for today's agenda?
Through the wire, no.
Okay. Seeing that, I have a motion that reads that the June 19th, 2025 agenda be approved. Moved by Councillor Wilhelm, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. All those in favor? And that is carried. Consent agenda. There are 16 items on today's consent agenda. Does any council member wish to extract to discuss? Seeing none, I have a motion that reads that council receives consent agenda 6.1 to 6.16 and approves the June 5th, 2025 council minutes. Moved by Councillor Orr, second by Councillor Smith. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on our agenda. We have no public meetings. We'll move on to staff reports. At 8.1, we have corporate services. Marion. Good morning, welcome.
Thanks. So, Warden, I'm pleased to provide an update on the corporate services division activities for the month of May. Some of the highlights include a focus on accessibility, whereby legislative services held accessible document training for both internal staff as well as members from the lower tiers. And also they did the roadshow of the 2024 accessibility update, which was presented to all the lower tier councils. Our archives division assisted in the public opening of the Rose McCain stage. And one of our assistant archivists provided an information session at the Stratford Public Library on the history of the Wartime Victory Gardens. The rest of the report contains updates for major projects and initiatives from throughout the division. And I just want to highlight some of the June updates, which are Archives now offers the extended hours, and the Agricultural Working Group reports, both on the forestry bylaw and on its composition, will be returning to the next council. And just want to thank all of the support that went on from our IT division, POA, legislative services in terms of getting this space and the grand opening up and running. So if there's any questions, happy to take them.
Thank you for your report. Questions or comments for Marion? See none, thank you. I have a motion that reads as follows. That council receives a corporate services May 2025 update report for information. Moved by Councillor Agates, second by Councillor McDermott. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to 8.2, Public Works, Council Chamber POA Courtroom Renovation. Good morning and welcome, John.
Thank you, Warden. Good morning, Council. This report discusses the planned renovation to this room and seeks Council's direction on the use or options to host County Council and/or POA Court. We would have preferred to have these discussions sooner. However, it did make sense to be in the room itself for these considerations and tie that in with the grand opening of the new administrative offices later today. It has been over 5 years since we have hosted County Council in this room. And look around, we pretty much kept it the same as you last found it. For a couple of you, Councilors and staff, this is your first experience. So mind your step on the carpet, and whatever you do, don't touch the draperies. This is a great room, but it needs a facelift. The renovations include updated furniture, electrical, data cabling, wall finishes, flooring, window coverings, and a new multimedia system. Since we were last here, there have been some changes or modifications with both POA court and council meetings. While the intent was to renovate for dual purposes, these changes merit discussion on if this is a suitable place for council meetings. In the past, POA court was hosted every Tuesday and county council on every other Thursday. Transitioning the room between the two venues was not overly arduous at the time. While POA court is still held every Tuesday, there are several blitz days throughout the year, as well as Part 3 charges that require the courtroom for proceedings, and some of those are on Thursdays. POA's increased utilization of the room is one of the bigger changes, along with the demand for a virtual component that requires far more technology than previously used in this space. IT has MacGyvered something up for the court to use. If you're welcome to check back in here and see all the spaghetti and things that go together to make that system work. But the current technology requires significant upgrades. And this is a key piece to the renovations. That was identified a few years ago, and POA created a reserve to fund the technology portion of the project. Now, the size of the room is suitable for POA court. However, as most of you know, it's a little tight for county council, especially if there's any sizable delegations or members of the public in attendance. We do have some alternative layouts for renovation purposes. However, the amount of seating for council meetings will not greatly increase. Should council wish to pursue a renovation for dual purposes, staff will look to design the room, acquire furniture and a multimedia system that can serve both effectively and make setups more efficient. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do to increase the seating capacity in this room. Staff can bring back other options, locations, or scenarios for hosting county council meetings for your consideration. Regardless of renovating the room, we'll require finding a temporary space for conducting POA court proceedings. This will certainly factor into the timing of the project, which may delay it until 2026. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the report, John. Colleagues, open it up for comments or questions. Councillor Wilhelm.
I've got a comment and a question, if I may. My feeling is that this should be renovated as a dual purpose. This is a county courthouse, and to me, it only makes sense that Perth County Council should make decisions in the courthouse. That's all relevant, and it's not very often we have large delegations. And years ago, we used to do a road show where every now and again we would meet at the lower tier council chambers. And perhaps that could be considered when there's a conflict if we were to go dual purpose. And John, I have a question. What would be the cost to upgrade it for dual purpose versus just for court chambers?
Through the warden, we have budgeted $100,000 for this renovation in the room. In addition to that, POA has a reserve of approximately $100,000 for the technology portion. If we are doing dual purposes, obviously there's going to be some additional costs. We're going to have some other considerations to do. And we're certainly going to have to find furniture and everything that can serve that dual purpose. So there may be some additional costs. I don't think it's significant. As I said, we do have some layouts that we have been working with that can function for both purposes.
Thank you. Councillor Smith.
Thanks through you, Warden. Me and Bob, Councillor Wilhelm, did not talk today, but exact same words I was going to say. So I do have a comment and a question. I guess my comments are what Councillor Wilhelm said. Dual purpose, yes. As far as the conflicts, is it, and I like the thought that perhaps we go to the lower tiers during conflicts or even without a conflict, let's still go to the lower tiers. My question is it mandatory that we do the virtual or online with cameras at every meeting? Just curious, because there's some time, if we were to go to the lower tiers, I think we all have that capability now, but just it would save some of that time. My question is it mandatory that we do that?
Through the warden, my understanding is it's not mandatory. We have a policy that says that for accessibility and transparency purposes, also it's for efficiency when people aren't feeling well, that they could zoom in. It also for the access for people to see the records and see the business of council take place beyond the hours, particularly the press. There's no press here. They used to come. They don't come anymore. They just go online. They're able to report on things after. But I'm not aware of any legislation that says it must be, but it does align quite nicely with accountability, accessibility, transparency framework for council. And transparency and accountability are a particular mandatory aspect of local governments, all local governments. And this is one way we achieve it.
Laura.
I would support the dual purpose. I would think that if we couldn't be here, could we not go back to the emergency center? I mean, we've been working there all along, so maybe that could be our backup. I don't mind going to the lower tiers, but I think that's logical.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Higgins?
Your Warden Kellum, I'm hearing what they say. Unfortunately, I'm not at that point. I think we should go back to the EMS building. One thing, there's a lot more space. I see cords everywhere here this morning. I know when they do the renovations that will change, but it is also very time consuming for staff to keep moving the desks around for the meetings and try to coordinate them. It also is going to be a burden for the POA staff when they're trying to do courtroom and we're trying to have a council meeting. And we've been here before when there's tons of people over there and it's a little too noisy over here and the doors aren't shut. And I think if we had built a new building years ago, we wouldn't have been here anyway. So I'm kind of moving towards that. I think we need to go into a bigger space. Even if we have 2 or 3 delegations, we've had lots of people come to the other building and we don't have room for everybody. If all the staff come and sit during the meetings, there's not room for everybody in this room. I feel like I'm in a tin can and I'm getting squeezed. But it is nice to be here again, but I would vote that we move it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor McDermott?
I would agree with Councillor Higgins. I love being in this building and I love history. Everybody knows that, but it's just the size of the building that like the staff, there's no room now for anybody to come because we've already got all the seats taken. So as much as I love being here, it's for me, it's an issue of space, that you've got to have space so people can come.
Thank you. Councillor?
Could you just clarify, can the staff see our meetings where they are at their desks? Could they not just come up when it's their time?
Through the warden, that's something that we did in the past. When most of us were in this building here, staff could come up and down, during while council's going on to deliver their report. Now they have also the advantage of, now we're all back in the same space again, and they can, if they're down at their offices, they can keep track of where we're at on council online.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Councillor Duncan?
I guess that's one of the big things. The reason I'm going to be in favor of staying here is because all the staff's here now. I think we all need to get back to one building. I realize there's space challenges here, but I think we could, with a proper layout and plan that John has suggested, I think we can make this work.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? John, with the renovations, would these bulky desks be gone?
Through you, yes.
Yes, so that would allot to more.
Yes, through you, Warden. We'd be choosing furniture and desks and tables that would be suitable for both council and court purposes, that are designed to be easily moved around and then put together for the different configurations.
Thank you. Anyone else? So I was totally sold on the MS building, but now that I've been back in here, I think this is where we belong. I think we can make it work. If we do have a large delegation, there's a beautiful facility in Mitchell that we could use and move around. So I am in favor of staying here. So if there are no other questions or comments, does someone like to put a motion on the floor? Councilor Wilhelm.
Yes, I would go with the recommendation that it be for a dual purpose.
Okay. Second by Councillor Mackenzie. So the motion reads as follows: that council receives the council chamber POA courtroom renovation report, and that council directs the staff to plan a renovation of the room for dual purposes. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to our agenda, 8.2.2, I believe Bill's coming up with some tender results. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Warren Kellum. Through you, good morning, council. This item from Public Works reports on the results of tender 2025-031-03 for the replacement of culvert structure 130 on Perth Road 130, just south of Highway 8 in Stephenville. The 2025 capital budget includes capital project BC 0060 for the replacement of this open bottom concrete box culvert that provides crossing over the Bruce Coulthard Municipal Drain on County Road 130. It's located between the rail crossing and Highway 8. The existing structure spans 2.4 meters and is in very poor condition. It was inspected in 2023 and again in 2024. Notes of those inspections recommended its replacement within a 5-year time frame from the 2023 inspection. So subsequently, we undertook a hydrology and a hydraulic study of the structure and selected the replacement type, which is a precast box culvert with the larger dimension, 3.3 by 2.7 meter opening. Following the detailed design, the project went to tender, and there were 41 plan takers yielding 5 tender submissions. The tender results are listed in table 1 of the report and show that Vandriel Excavating provided the low bid submission valued at $660,877.31. The tender submission received from Vandriel has been reviewed by staff and the project's consulting engineer, where it was found to be complete and accompanied by all required documents and securities. Vandriel has demonstrated the resource capacity to complete the work. The contractor has completed similarly scoped bridge and culvert rehabilitation and replacement projects for the county and local municipalities in the past. Most recently in 2023, they were awarded the rehabilitation of Fish Creek Bridge near Prospect Hill for the county here. Construction will require a full road closure to facilitate this replacement. A detour route utilizing a route to the east of the site will be used, and the contract specifies a 4-week duration for completion of this work. The site falls within the Upper Thames River watershed, and we have received all external agency approvals to complete this work. The low bid submission from Vandriel is within the project's budget, and staff are awarding the bid, or staff are recommending awarding the bid to Vandriel. That concludes my summary of the report. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Thank you for the report, Bill. Colleagues, questions, comments? Councilor Wilhelm.
Yes, just wondering, and I may have missed it, timing on this as 130 is being rebuilt and reconstructed, started already in Edmonton. And what is the timing with this replacement versus the reconstruction of 130? And is there going to be repairs done on the railroad tracks?
Yes, through the warden, thank you for the question. This project, this structure replacement project, is scheduled to occur in the fall, September, October, which will be following completion of the work on 130 resurfacing. With the 130 resurfacing project, the track replacement work is scheduled for July to be completed. So the work through that contract will be wrapped up prior to beginning this structure replacement project.
Thank you. Anyone else? John, go ahead.
For the warden, just to clarify too, this culvert replacement is just north of the limits of where we're stopping with construction this year on 130. There is another project planned to resurface that next year in conjunction with the planned road project on Perth Road 135 from Sebringville north.
Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you, Bill. I have a resolution that reads as follows. That council receives the tender results structure 130130, replacement road 130 report, and that council award tender 2025-031-03 to Vandril Excavating Inc. And that council authorize the warden and the clerk to execute the agreement between the corporation of the County of Perth and Vandril Excavating Inc. Moved by Councillor Wilhelm, second by Deputy Warden Trentowski. All those in favor? And that is carried. Just one little note, you can see the people up here a little better. You know, sometimes I would miss someone putting their hands up. Like I just looked over and John was there. So there are some benefits of being up here for future wards. Okay, moving on to item 9, council reports. The warden's activity report is there. Anyone have any questions where I was that month? Councilor McDermott?
Oh, did you enjoy your trip to Japan?
I sure did. I sure did. It was a very good experience. It was very busy. I must say that our economic development and the others that went do a lot of work. You know, it wasn't a holiday, as Rhonda can attest to, a lot of steps. Our meetings went very, very well and very receptive. They were very interested in Perth County. We had some great discussion and there'll be more to follow, but yes, I did have a good time. Usually when you go away, I gained 5 or 6 pounds, I lost 5. I tried sushi once, but anyway, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Okay. So I have a motion that reads as follows. The council receives the warden's activity report, May 2025 report for information. Moved by Councillor McKenzie, second by Councillor Duncan. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. There are no bylaws. Any council members wish to leave notice of motion? Seeing none. Any other business? Councillor McKenzie.
I have a question, and I haven't heard anything for quite some time. And I don't know if staff can kind of look into this or not. And what I'm concerned about is we haven't heard anything about what's going on at Hillside, at Seabox Hill. They were supposed to be moving, I understood, into some property near the hospital, but nothing has happened. I don't know if we could maybe get an update from somebody. I know the company that did have it has changed hands, so it's in a different name now. But, you know, I think from the lobbying that we did before to keep the beds in Perth County, that we should probably follow up and make sure that nothing changes there.
Through the warden, I'm happy to follow up on that, and I'll bring a report to the next council meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor McKenzie. Anyone else? Moving on, are there any announcements that will better Perth County that you'd like to share with us at this time? Seeing none, we do not have a closed session, so we'll move on to the confirmatory bylaw. That bylaw, 4037-2025 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council and the corporation of the County of Perth at its regular meeting held June 19th, 2025, is read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed June 19th, 2025. Moved by Councillor Smith, second by Councillor Duncan. All those in favor? And that is carried. And finally, that the council meeting be adjourned at approximately 9:25 a.m. Moved by Councillor McDermott, second by Councillor Agates. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, everyone, and look forward